Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brad Boyd. I'm a Republican running for Williamson County Coroner. Today's video, I'm going to talk about my nurse career and how it uniquely qualifies me for the second main duty of the county coroner, which is naming a medical cause of death. Became a nurse in 2009, received an associate's degree in nursing from John A. Logan College. Becoming a nurse was a bit of a pragmatic decision for me. I was very ignorant about what a nurse did, what their role was, expertise that was required. The flexibility that the job offered, the fact that I could get a job doing it, paid me enough to show up, was kind of my leading reasons for becoming a nurse. I'll admit I've been very pleasantly surprised about how much I've enjoyed it. Found the folks are very appreciative of what we do for them. It's a very rewarding job. And when I became a nurse, became an intensive care unit nurse immediately. Very challenging role, but with the assistance of some great mentors and some great coworkers, I I developed into a relatively competent intensive care unit nurse, I believe. And when I entered into the nursing, the knowledge-based expertise required by nurses, I was very ignorant of it, as I said. Nurses are a lot like cardiologists. We become experts in the areas that we work, or like doctors are. Doctors, that work cardiology are experts about the heart. Pulmonologists are experts about the lung diseases. They specialize. Well, nurses specialize as well. And based on where they work, they become very knowledgeable about that area. We have OR nurses, we have ER nurses, we have surgical nurses, we have medical nurses, we have office nurses. I was an intensive care unit nurse, and an intensive care unit nurse becomes an expert in critical care in diseases that are really what we called actively trying to kill people. The intensive care unit I worked, we took care of folks who had open heart surgeries. We took care of folks with brain surgeries. We took care of folks septic shock, heart failure, COPD exacerbations. We took care of people really, really sick. And we took care of people who, regardless of our efforts, still passed. We also took care of folks that we reach a point on some who our continued care treatment regimen is obviously futile, and at that point our role changes from trying to keep people alive and to get them better to ensure that their passing is as comfortable as possible. And in this role as an intensive care unit nurse, I had lots of opportunities to do all of that, and became an expert in the treatment, the presentation, the progression of all the common diseases that lead to death. I'm familiar with a lot of the uncommon disease processes that lead to death. I've seen some of them. I've taken care of folks that die of uncommon causes, but the vast majority of folks that we take care of and have the common conditions that lead to death. And so as an intensive care unit nurse, I would consider myself an expert in the treatment of those conditions and how they present and how they progress. And so people, well, you're just a nurse. How do why would you consider yourself an expert in those conditions? And a nurse is with a patient 12 hours a day. Doc comes in, they do have a knowledge base of pathophysiology, treatment regimens, and they're vital to the medical community, but so are nurses. And nurses spend 12 hours a day with that patient. They don't just spend a half hour or an hour. And so they actively caring for those folks during that time, and they can't help but become an expert in the treatment and the presentation of those diseases. And so I think this gives me a unique perspective and ability to read and understand medical records of the cases that come before the coroner's office. During my nurse career, I completed my Bachelor of Science Nursing at Murray State. I did start a Doctor of Nurse Practice program at Murray State. I completed several graduate level classes in that level. Theory, advanced pathophysiology. Then in 2015, I was diagnosed with cancer and had to withdraw from the program for treatment. I did continue to work through the treatment, and I've been cancer-free now for 5 years, knock on wood. But anyway, this role of nurse, I think, offers a unique background